Hi, Justin. Welcome back to our podcast series. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Dharam. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great. Enjoying the lifestyle of Dallas and Texas, running around, going around. So it's going good so far.
Well, I think you're coming across the pond closer to me here soon in the coming months. So looking forward to hopefully maybe seeing you.
Exactly. So next month, in May 2023, I have a German plan, European plan. So let's see how it goes. Then Saudi and UAE. So especially Dubai. Let's see. Looking forward. Looking forward. And
Perfect.
look, you are always traveling, and you very busy man. I know, and you're still finding time for these podcasts. So thank you for making yourself available for building this knowledge pool. And I'm guessing getting a lot of feedback from people that they are enjoying the discussion, they're liking it. So whatever we're doing is people liking it, and they're learning and they're utilizing the knowledge in their day-to-day program, project, and portfolio management.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So in the same series, we're going to talk about some very interesting topic, especially around the delivery skills for project program and portfolio manager. So the topic is evolving program portfolio delivery skills. So let me start my first question around the delivery. So, how to select the best program portfolio delivery system?
Certainly, there's it's a loaded question, but what I would say specifically, and we'll look at it probably more from the portfolio level, because really that kind of comes down, at least in my eyes, with aligning with the business objectives and the strategic roadmap that, let's just say, your senior leadership puts forth, and selecting the best, whether it be ended up being a portfolio and program down to the project level. The delivery system is really going to depend, number one, on your culture. Certainly, you're going to have some of the enterprise environmental factors and even the outside influences, but really making sure that you're aligned to the strategic vision and the business objectives, I think, is probably the most important, and then certainly adapting it to the culture of the business. I think I've seen, thankfully, I haven't been a part of a company necessarily that would be doing the type of work, but you could tell that wasn't aligned with the objective of the business. I've been around it. Again, I haven't been a part of that, but just you can very obviously see it when you're even on a job site, when you're certainly working alongside other companies. I've seen it to where the workers all the way down to the ones that are actually, putting the using the tools to install something. You can tell just in the atmosphere in which they work in and their morale. It really, you can see that how it all goes all the way up to the top when they're not doing the work that really is best aligned with the business objectives. So I think it's very important, but certainly being able to select the best, certainly a number of factors, but first and foremost has to align with that executive vision and making sure that everything is aligned.
Yes, certainly we need to see the strategic alignment and the expectation the organization leader has from the program and project management, and the type of work we're doing, the complexity involved in that, the budget available. So many things we have to see before we decide the delivery system or delivery mechanism we have to pick as a project program and portfolio manager. Yeah. All right. So how do the right projects at right time with effective execution and delivery? So how to do this? We're talking about all these projects, and so how to do the right projects at the right time with effective execution and delivery.
Well, it's kind of a feed off from this last question. Let's assume we're already aligned with the strategic vision and the business objective. And so how to do the right projects or programs at the right time. is really understanding the marketplace. I really think to where um, there may be and certainly right now in the world, there's so many different movements and different markets and political changes that are happening in the world economy, and certainly recently with some of the banks failing in the U.S. There's just a lot of movement right now to where um, understanding the market and quite frankly, doing an overall risk assessment, I think first and foremost is something that'll be very important. And understanding, hey, if we start this project, what are some of the things that could expose us to um, some dire issues, but also at the same point, as you read some of the most successful people in the world, it's these type of times that they see those opportunity to take those risks to where they're in the positions that they are in, and it's changed their lives and changed the world, quite frankly, and some of those things. So understanding from a risk perspective, certainly the challenges, but also understanding the opportunity risks, I think is important. Number two, I think certainly a stakeholder engagement, understanding the ins and outs from internally, even to externally, politically, understanding the entire picture before you jump into a particular project, I think is extremely important. And really, that will then feed into that effective execution and delivery. Certainly have to have the talent and the subject matter experts to be able to execute at a high level. And not necessarily the real challenges right now is, one thing is the talent, but then having the additional capacity to expand, because likely what ends up happening is you're gonna deliver something and effectively, and it's going to be a huge success for the company, and being able to build the capacity, because likely once you find a niche that can be exploited, you're going to need to have additional personnel to be able to support the exponential growth that is likely to happen. So that is some of the challenges that are definitely being faced in the marketplace now. It's being able to have the right talent, and having that amount of talent to be able to really make sure that all your customers are being delivered for. So lots of different factors involved in that, but certainly in summary, understanding the market, having a full perspective of your entire stakeholder register, and probably even more so doing that risk assessment. And likely there's going to be some factors that probably weren't thought about in the first place to be able to then execute efficiently.
Exactly. So, you highlighted a number of factors which are very, very important. First of all, of course, we need to make sure the work we are doing is strategically aligned, and we have the right skill sets, and we have and we know the urgency. As you mentioned, the urgency is very important. Understanding the organization's strategy direction, market, how the market is reacting, various risks around it. What you mentioned about the banks, how the banks are failing. Some of the banks have failed. So we need to, and you went the one point you mentioned, that while there are a lot of risks around, a lot of things are happening, with the risk of recession, and the banks, and many things are happening, but still there are lots of opportunity, positive risk, and you can capitalize on them as a project manager. Like, I've seen a lot of people are made redundant from big organizations like Google and Facebook and Microsoft, so many of them. But if you, and this may be the right opportunity for you, hey, let me grab some of the right skills available in the market. You can get them the best available resources. Just because they're made redundant doesn't mean they are not good enough. They are equally good or even better. Sometimes they don't, not realize the potential. So this is the right time for companies to hire the right people, maybe right price as well. So all this, having right skills available with you, and right communication skills, have identify leadership skills, all this makes your project delivery, the success is becoming more and more certain when you follow all this right. Tick the boxes. You have done the schedule management, you've done the scope management, you've done the identify all the stakeholder, and working with them not, and also prioritizing the stakeholders and spending the enough time or enough energy with the right stakeholders. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you. So my next question is, what can a program or portfolio manager do to reduce stress and handle already overworked project teams, which end results in suffering from delays or cost overruns or poor quality and delivery?
I don't, I don't, I don't know that from a project or a program or portfolio manager that can ever be officially, truly, taken care of. But I'll go off of kind of some of the things that have at least helped me. Specifically, we manage a portfolio of different projects and different customers here in the region, and some of the things that I've been able to do effectively is first off, I know I've even kind of alluded to it in other recordings before, but again, you have to understand your team. You have to make sure that you always have the pulse of your team.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always mean that you just talk to, let's just say, the site supervisor or the leader. You need to get down to the lowest of the low, have an understanding of how they're feeling, because you can't just necessarily accept one version of a perspective. You have to understand the entire team's perspective, because one person may just feel absolutely overworked. Maybe they're in a specific trade that they're the only one on the team that's capable of doing the specific work package. And so maybe overall as a team, we're doing okay, but there may be one member of the team that has a speciality that's just being rode hard. And so being able to, again, truly understand an honest assessment of your overall team, I think is very important. Kind of how I alluded to in the last question too is, making sure you have the correct talent and the subject matter experts to be able to execute at a high level, but also as well being able to have that additional capacity. And that, of course, is a very big challenge in all marketplaces right now. So how do you necessarily navigate that when you can't find the talent that you need? What I've been able to do, and again, it comes down to having that intimate relationship with your customer, I think is extremely important, and being able to really kind of mold as the PM, being able to really shape the different starting and stopping of the different work packages within, and being able to find some slack within that to be able to get your folks the rest and recovery that they need, and having that flexibility. There are times, actually, even late into last year, as we were trying to close out the year and close out strong, we were able to find that extra gear, so to speak, to be able to finish strong and quite frankly, be able to get our folks home a week early to celebrate the holidays. That was really a good timing to be able to really incentivize being able to finish, but also doesn't mean running them into the absolute ground leading up to that. And so it's a delicate balance, of course, as always, from a PM standpoint, but really, again, it goes down to having that pulse of your team, but being able to find the slack in the schedules, get them the rest that they need, especially when it's folks are away from their family. The nature of our work is being away on the road a lot, and so being able to find that time to be able to get them the home time that they need, be with their families. If things aren't good at home, then they're not going to be good while you're on the road. So it's certainly important to be able to do that, and then certainly you want to drive your team's execution and execute at a high level, but you can't necessarily ride them all the time to where you burn them out. So press when you need to. Certainly have the expectation that, hey, we're all professionals. We expect to do our jobs well, but then certainly leave that ability to where when you get into crunch time, go above and beyond to get the project done. And I think for me, and again, and being able to have that intimate relationship with the customer and and be able to mold it to where there's opportunities to get them the rest to be able to then come back and deliver on the high quality and delivery that that is expected of us over here. So it's real hard balancing act, but I think begins with great customer relationships.
Actually, that's very, very important. It's not only your relationship with the team important, at the same time, your customer relationship. So sometimes they're expecting too much and all the time. Then, you and your team is always under pressure, under stress. Hey, we need to deliver. But as a project manager, program manager, you need to figure out, hey, this cannot sustain. This is not a sustainable model. I need to ensure that my team is first of all, they're capable of doing things. So you have to find right team combination and right experience, right certification, and all kind of things, and give them the right work. Allocation of time, allocation of work, the type work is given to them, how challenging it is. Sometimes it is a monotonous, simple, easy, regular operation kind of job. Then people don't like it, and sometimes they look for challenges. To look for, hey, let me give him a task which can make him to feel that he is accomplishing something, or that's a sense of accomplishment is also important. And as you also mentioned, and I know your environment is very, very extremely busy, and the folks in your teams always, very extremely busy. They're away from families, and also, kind of lots of hours they have to put, and not just to do the things, but a lot of conflicts and other stakeholder engagement level skills that they need to have. And you as the project manager has to, sometimes you have to take yourself away from doing things, but observing how things going. What else you can do to make your team environment more comfortable, and provide them right time, as you mentioned that you allow your team to celebrate the holiday time, even give them extra time. And I know one of your staff, you sent him to Bali or something, so he had a good time there. Look, why not? Because the team is working so hard, and this is the kind of reward they look forward to. And give them time. Sometimes give them a free holiday, and again, this depends on your many factors, including budget and many, you know. But you need to, as a manager, you need to look after your team and look after them from the motivating them, right skills are there, right team engaged environment is created, and they are rewarded effectively. The bonuses are attached with their work, because if the person is working hard, the rewards in the form of bonus or salary raise or promotion. So all these things, of course, you need to, as a manager, project manager, or program manager, you need to look after. So at least when people are doing work, they know after my hard work over a few days, few months, I will be rewarded, and that can make their family happy. If the family happy, they also happy.
Yeah, to give you the specific instance, this last year, and it's certainly a customer that I've worked with for many years, but we were faced with a situation that we were going to have to go above and beyond, and certainly there were some out of scope things that I had to take care of with our customer.
Okay.
But yeah, and but it ended up being where before I even went to our customer, I sat around with my team and said, here's what I would like to do. Certainly our guys were, I think, scheduled to go on their holiday break around December 15th, let's just say. But I said, I'd like to be able to, I told my team, I'd like to be able to deliver this no later than, let's say, the 7th or 8th of December, and which then gets you all home a week earlier. Can we do this? And if I go to the customer with this, that means that we have to deliver. And they literally said, absolutely, we'll make it happen. And so when I talked to the customer about this, I specifically said, I was being bluntly honest with them, like, look, my guys have been on the road for many months. They're ready to get home, but they want to get this done. And so our particular customer couldn't actually get to our site to close it out until maybe December 17th or something like that. And it simply was not going to be acceptable. Like, look, my guys have to get out and be with their family. And so I said, but the compromise is we'll deliver this by the 7th or 8th, whatever it was. So while we can't necessarily accommodate you, we're gonna, get this thing done 8 days ahead of original schedule. And I told them flat out, I said, my guys need to get home. It's been a long second half of the year, and they need to be home with their families. And the customer literally said, totally understand. We'll find a way. We'll get there, and we'll make it happen. And it ended up being a great success story, and certainly was able to get everybody home a week ahead of time, which, hey, everybody won in the end, with the customer getting the extra capabilities earlier than expected, and getting our folks home, 8+ days before they originally scheduled. So it was a nice surprise for their families. So it really was a win-win. And so that's being able to, again, I don't think I'd have been able to do that if I didn't have that good relationship with the team, first and foremost.
Yeah.
And certainly having that ability to be, quite frankly, honest with the customer. Like, look, we're not going to be here that late into the year. We need to deliver by this time, or we're going to have to push it into January. And they totally understood, and we made it happen.
Yeah, and you highlighted two very important points. Your relationship with the team has to be, you need to spend time with the team to understand who they are and how they're working, and a lot of other things happen. Because at the end of the day, they are the one who's making things happen for you as manager. So you need to look after them. You need to know their capabilities and the constraints and other things. And on the other side, you mentioned about the relationship with the customer. That's very, very important. And being upfront, being transparent, all these skills we're talking here are very important. Let them know, hey, my guys are working hard, and we'll make it happen for you. And so you need to look after them as well. Some considerations. And believe it or not, most of the clients or the customer, they understand the situation, and they are accommodating, especially when you have relationship and when you are upfront and keeping them informed about that.
Yep, exactly. That expectation management is huge.
Yeah, great stuff. Good, good job. And I know you and your team very well, so I know how well your team is being looked after while working day in, day out. So yeah, so that's why it is. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Justin. Okay, my next question is whether clarity on business objective have direct impact on program portfolio delivery.
We've kind of already alluded to that one. Absolutely, without a question. As I kind of alluded to earlier today, when you're around a certain entity that you can, when they're not aligned, you can tell by morale, by the employees and the teams. There's a bunch of conflict. It's just not a, there's always tension. You can feel it. And so certainly when you don't have clarity in business objectives, it will it will directly impact everything in the organization, in my opinion. It is super important to make sure that everybody is in the same page and everyone has that buy-in. I think that is really an important thing, where especially when you have a team, I always like to empower our team. I have them, really they're the ones that are the engine that make things go. And so if they don't have buy-in on their end, things aren't going to happen. So it's my job to make sure that we're in alignment with the overall business objectives. But the folks that are doing the real work certainly have to be aligned and have that buy-in as well. And so if not, you have an organization that's going to ultimately fail. It's probably going to lose a lot of money. The customer is going to be very upset, and it snowballs and it becomes a bigger issue, and it can spoil great things and great relationships. And so anytime that one has a great reputation and a delivery record, it's so hard to maintain it, but it is so easy to slip up, and everything that you work so hard for just gets wiped away. And so It's always important to be on your game and being well aligned. Otherwise, it goes up in smoke real quick.
Exactly. So yeah, 100% aligned with your thoughts, and very, very important to make sure clarity of business objectives very clear to each and every individual in your project. Because let's think about, let's say you are working towards the FIFA World Cup organized by Qatar, and if you are the folks working in the stadium, building, doing some kind of nation the labor work, why they have to worry about FIFA World Cup? No, they have to, because every time they do something, they are adding value to that. So as a leader, you need to create a picture in their mind. Hey guys, we are moving toward that direction. This is aligned with organization objectives, and these are strategically important for everybody else. Once this is gone live, and this is the outcome of the result, and this is where the world will see us as the FIFA World Cup or whatever work you're doing. That clarity is very, very important, because I've seen that happening. A person who is doing the firewall, opening the firewall connection, and every connection for security purpose, we have firewall rules. So for him, it's just a firewall rule. I'm doing it daily, day in, day out. But when I'm talking to the person, look, why is this important, and why this is we're doing this correctly at the first time, is so important, because of this rewinning the business, or going to the market, or solving this big problem, then the excitement is different. The normal time may be 7 days for doing the work, SLAs. Most people sit behind the SLAs, KPIs. And when they know this is so important, they actually get it done even faster than forget about SLA. They can do much faster. And they also align, they're motivated. Hey, look, and they have done the job, and also recognize them. When the project gets completely successfully, this is the one single person who has done this job for you at the right time, made the difference. So you need to recognize them as well, and appreciate everybody in your team. So clarity of business objective, very important. Everybody in your team member has a clear picture, and they are focusing towards that. Everybody marching towards that. And that's the role of a leader who can create a picture and take them through the journey along with them.
Yeah, even to add on to that one, Dharam, is certainly up in NEOM here right now in Saudi Arabia. One of the particular projects within NEOM called Trojena. It's in the mountains of NEOM, and they've been selected as the 2029 Asian Winter Games destination. So talk about having the pressure on now of a brand new, city in the middle of nowhere. Certainly beautiful, but there truly is a hard timeline associated with folks being able to deliver on that one now. So I have no doubt they'll make it happen, but certainly there's some stresses up there. So, but that's always the goal, in reaching new heights, being able to deliver when the pressure's on. It's as we've well established. In some of our previous recordings, I'm a former college of football player in the U.S. and hey, there's nothing better than feeling that pressure, and that's when as they say, the cream rises to the top. Be able to perform at high levels under those stressful situations.
And I think we need to clarify two things. One thing here is about the difference between pressure or patience. Sorry, pressure and what is that? Passion.
Passion, absolutely.
Passion. So if there's a clarity and objective, what you talked about, NEOM City and Shazan, all this work, and if you can create, a connection of the team with this end goal, they don't feel pressure. They are more passionate now. Once the passion is created or ignited, then the results are different. They don't feel the pressure. Sometimes they're working 12 hours, 14 hours, but the end goal is something else. Okay, you know what? Why I'm doing this? Because I'm making this happen. My contribution will make this successful as well. So once a connection is made, people don't find excuses. They get excited, they get connected, and they go all the way and make it happen.
And that's exactly what you're seeing here in Saudi Arabia nowadays. It's not just Neom or Qiddiya or Alula or any of the other giga to mega or just regular projects. It's an entire nation that has been rejuvenated and has certainly got that passion to deliver some groundbreaking technologies and different designs that encapsulated the world, and it's truly exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, and that's great work done by the leadership in Saudi Arabia. It's not easy to take whole country, follow you, and make it happen. And everybody excited to see this new things happening in the city like this or the country like this. So whatever the leadership is doing, they are doing great job, and I think they will succeed in their vision. That's what very, very important as a leader, as a project manager, program manager.
Yeah, and then the PMI certifications are in very high demand.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, because people know having these right skills and right certificate will allow them to think differently. And the results which are not available now is possible because of the standard way of doing things, or international or what you call a recognized best practices,
Yeah.
and apply them, and that will make you be equipped with the right tools, equipment, and technology, and then I can make the things better.
Well, when you talk about portfolio delivery, like you said, the standardization, especially with the PMI certifications, and certainly they're wanting the best minds in the world to come here to the kingdom to be able to help them achieve their vision. And having those certifications and everyone being able to speak a common language is very important. So no matter where you're from, being able to have that commonality is very important and will help to deliver at a very high level.
Yeah, perfect. Good stuff. Thank you. My next question is, what are the essential skills that define project, program, portfolio leaders?
I think we've talked about a lot of them that at least, I will say that we've talked about some of them here in our previous questions, but I will say that given my background, as I've been around a lot of military leaders, but I've also been around now a lot of just successful business leaders. And I will say that no matter what background they're from, some of the commonalities that I've seen with successful leaders is certainly having that ability to relate to folks and to have that genuineness to them. There's been leaders that I've come across, they've been in positions of leadership, but they never took the time to know you or even show that they cared. Nothing against them, but it just doesn't, it'll only get them so far. Where when you need to inspire a team to be able to go above and beyond and deliver, that's where you have to have that relationship with your team, being able to come down to them and just be honest with them. Certainly, you have to be a good communicator. Obviously, there's some things that you can't necessarily share with the team, but being able to find a way to not necessarily, how do I want to say, come across as, oh, well, I can't tell you, but being able to help paint a better picture in the roadmap of, hey, I understand that you're not liking doing this work, but understand that, if we do this is going to open up a lot of opportunities, not only for yourself and growth opportunities, but for the company overall, and be able to have them be able to see that, hey, what you're doing now, I realize that it's not fun. It's not fun for any of us, but this is the groundwork. This is the foundation that we're building to build those skyscrapers later. And this is important, because if we don't have a good foundation, we'll have a deck of cards that'll crumble. So I think that is a really key ability from a good leader. Certainly, we've already talked about being able to engage with your stakeholders, expectation management, building the critical relationships that are needed, I think is very
Yeah.
important. Um, for me, I think that one of the big things too is finding that elusive single version of what the truth is. Because of course, some folks don't necessarily want to give you the down and dirty, so to speak. They'll want to give you a nice cherry on top type of status. And I think you've called them. What did you call them?
Watermelon.
Yeah, so watermelon report. Gotta make sure you get in, get into the details. So everything may be looking green on the outside, but inside is beet red. So the watermelon report, you got to make sure you get your hands dirty and really get to the one truth. I think is very important. But again, it's being able to be able to communicate up and certainly down in the chain of command is one of the biggest things. And so I've been around a lot of leaders that have been able to do that very successfully, and I've seen some that aren't capable of doing that as well. And so I've been able to be fortunate to be around a little bit of both to, kind of look at what I liked, what I disliked, and kind of formulate my own way of doing things. And I think it's important in any leader. I remember one time back in the day when I was very young in my career, was working with the U.S. military, and one gentleman told me he was writing a bunch of notes down, and he was very frustrated, but he was writing a bunch of notes down. And I just asked him, I said, "What are you writing down? I'm curious." He goes, "I'm writing things down that I don't like because when I get to be that chief master sergeant, which is the top in the on the enlisted side in the Air Force," he goes, "I want to make sure that this doesn't happen anymore. So I'm writing things down that I don't like. So then when I get to that position of responsibility and leadership, then I can actually make a change." And I was like, that is pretty awesome, and certainly something that I've never forgotten. Being able to, as you work your way up the chain and more responsibilities, don't forget where you came from and be able to make sure that you make it better than better than what you had it when you were in that position. So certainly a little bit of humility as well.
Exactly. I mean, look, there are lots of skills we can talk about. You mentioned communication, leadership, stakeholder engagement, and creating the vision, strategic alignment, negotiation, good negotiator, because you negotiate the work, negotiate with the people and the team, everybody. And I like the one example you gave about the military. This person will be next person in the command, but he's taking notes on what he don't want to see or happen in his when he's becoming chief. I mean, I can think of my example when I was myself as a student, and I can tell you, I'm just average student from my school, and I didn't like some of the things, the way the teachers were teaching at the time. They asked us people to just memorize things and go to the exam and just vomit there. I mean, it's not a knowledge, it's just I didn't like that way. And this is what I say, if I become, and I think about a person who's very shy, who never talk to, going in that much. And I'm thinking that if I do come to the position where I'm going to teach, I don't want to show, want to teach my student like this. So yes, you need to learn when you're going up. This is what I like to see, if person in my situation, an average student or below average student, how to lift them from ground up and make them successful. Now I'm feeling proud that I can do a lot of these things which I used to think, and making my student, the struggling student, to pass this complex exam very easily. That's where I look at myself and my father. He's no more with us, but I look at him. Something you never probably has imagined, and it's happening, and I'm proud of that as well. And I'm sure he is also proud of that as well.
I'm living proof of one of your students, Dharam. I came to you after failing the PgMP, and you turned it around for me, and turned around and I was above target in all domains and finished the test in 2.5 hours. So
Yeah.
uh, you're true. I'm living proof. So I think you've done well.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. And it was fun. Well, yeah, very, very important for you to have trust in me, and for me, it's very important that whoever come to me, I'm really looking after my student and get the best out of me, and they do the best. Not only passing the exam, you pass the exam, and a lot of people are passing there, but you do excellent job in life. So that's where it is.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. There's many different opportunities out there, or options out there, I should say, that will help you pass the test. But passing a test is one thing, but being able to retain it and understand it and make you be a better PM, I think is really the difference. Like you can certainly do a memorization data dump and pass a test, but do you really understand what it is that you're learning, and being able to apply it? And I think that's the real difference. Where I did a little bit of both. Certainly, I PMP, RMP, ACP, took the boot camps. Certainly, it can be as I call it, drinking through a fire hose. But when I did PgMP and PfMP with you, Dharam, it was I wasn't just learning the material. I was figuring out how I could apply it on a daily basis, and made me better. And I think that's where the difference is. You're not just taking a test. I think to be able to
Yeah.
really, is it going to make you better?
And I remember when you said when you went for the second attempt for your PGMP, the Pearson person looking at you, are you okay? Are you ready for the exam? And you were totally different person at the time because your face was glowing and you're kind of want to get it done, and you're going to pass the exam, and you're
Yeah.
mentally very strong and you're spiritually very strong. I mean, that's what it is when you're confident you have all these things.
Yeah, when that person at the test center asked me, "Are you ready to take your exam?" It was literally like the lights came on the football field, and it was like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to destroy this thing, and I did.
Great
So,
stuff. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for trusting me on the journey. And I'm very, very proud that, I mean, I made one more person uh, living the life happily. Exactly. All right. Next question I have is how organization can invoke a strong portfolio minded culture?
this one definitely had me doing a lot of thinking, quite frankly, and I did a lot of reading and really kind of came across a few things that, especially in the times we live in right now, and certainly there's AI and all different things, and political movements and financial markets, blah blah blah. But to really answer the question, some of the things that I found to be probably the most worthy on were, how can an organization invoke a strong portfolio minded culture? So I think first off, one of the big things is recognizing the need to change if you do, if that is the case. I think having that honest conversation internally is extremely important. And if you do make the change, or making sense of it and gaining the visibility that you need to be able to do the right work, I think is another one. And then finally, once you get that visibility and you're in that transition from the change, is prioritizing and compromising that shapes the pathway on the roadmap. I think truly some great ideas there that I found, and then ultimately leading and optimizing that change to deliver the results. I think those certainly those are 4 points that seem simple, but there's a lot that goes into it, and really kind of being able to do that and having that great culture certainly is going to involve, as what I would say, executive commitment. If you don't have commitment from the top, then what are you doing? And being able to have that backing from the top and alignment from the top, from a vision and mission standpoint. And then from a portfolio manager standpoint, some of the things as well, as you're making these changes, you're gonna one thing that definitely is always a fun one is navigating the hands off my kingdom type management that you're going to come around. That's certainly tough, but it's one of those things where folks are going to be resistant to change. So you have to be able to do that. One of the biggest things, and I think it's probably the thing that has made me the most successful in my career, is working without walls and building bridges. It is so easy to get caught up working in a silo, and where folks just get so tunnel vision, and you realize that there's redundant work happening, there's inefficiencies everywhere, and you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone, get out of your box, and being able to understand what everybody else is doing. Probably more so in my line of work, especially when we get into like the security program planning, where we're having to talk to folks across the enterprise, whether it be in logistics, safety, health, engineering, and all these different things come together. We're working with all of those folks to be able to bring it all together. And so working without walls and building bridges is probably one of the best things for me. Establishing the right picture and seeing what needs to be seen, as we talked about already with the watermelon reports, and then ultimately getting that one truth. And then we've kind of already alluded to it as well, that standardization and based on commonality, and be able to make sure that everyone's talking with the same language. I think those, if I realize that I just made it very simple in a paragraph, but those points I think are probably some of the most important, to be able to have that very strong-minded culture and being able to have a real honest analysis of your own organization.
Very, very well said. Very exactly what I was expecting, or the portfolio-minded culture, because many organizations, they kind of doing the playboy kind of, a cowboy kind of things, where, randomly, without thinking too much. But what you have to have is, clear alignment with what organization, where organization is heading to. And, you have prioritization, right skill set available. And yeah, so this actually, having a right portfolio culture can make or break for the organization. And one of the important things you mentioned about the support from the organizational leaders. You can't just throw everything to the portfolio manager to make it happen. You need to provide the right support to the portfolio manager and have the right funding, right people around to make it happen as well. All right. Okay, my next question is whether it is right to observe new program projects as an opportunity, exploration for better evaluation and understanding of the business value delivery.
This one, interesting enough, I was actually just in a gate review for our company literally last week on this, and what great timing. There was an opportunity for us that, let's just say, wasn't necessarily, we decided that it wasn't the right opportunity for us to pursue this in a full environment, let's just say. But with that being said, the executive leadership said, let's do the white paper, and let's build the discussion now, because we already know that we need to have this discussion and do a little R&D now, because we already know that there's another opportunity that we're tracking that we know we want to go for. This will give us a head start on it. So being able to really see that, observe new programs, new opportunities, exploration, some of the new technologies that we're going to have to integrate into future opportunities, that is first and foremost. It's absolutely right to observe the new programs. The one that we were looking at in the gate review wasn't necessarily, let's say, our wheelhouse or our stronghold, but we wanted to take the opportunity now to be able to answer some of the white paper questions and really kind of flush out some of our solutions, because ultimately it's going to get us ahead of the game for another opportunity that is in our wheelhouse. That's for, let's say, a new business pursuit. I'll also say on our particular side, one thing that I'm always trying to do especially in my, I guess, my area of responsibility, if you want to call it. Within our organization, there's many different projects or programs that we have in the region. And some of them are not necessarily ones that I've ever had purview out of or really related to what we do. But I'm always interested in learning about that particular project or program and seeing where there may be an opportunity to where, hey, maybe this client needs some critical infrastructure protection solutions, where we can provide that. Finding an area, since we've already have an existing relationship with a customer, understanding what their challenges are, and maybe we can find a way to help solve some of them. And having that business acumen and understanding and being able to see a bigger picture, I think is very important. So I'm always looking at our current customers in different ways that maybe we can help them with some of their other challenges that they may not necessarily they might not know where to start first and foremost. And when you have that existing relationship, they're going, gosh, I didn't know that you guys did that. That's fantastic. Let's talk about that. It's just that simple, being able to again build those relationships and find ways to expand your portfolio and programs.
Yeah, perfect. Very nice. Thank you. All right. Moving to my next question. How often is program or project progress measured?
Well, we know the PMI way of answering that with the charters and the business cases and defining KPIs and everything. And let's face it, though, I think in all reality is projects or programs and portfolios really are evaluated at the end of the day of, did it make the company money? Is the customer happy? I think those are probably the two big ones. And did we deliver on time? Of course, the customer's not going to be happy if you didn't deliver on time. But yeah. I think that is probably a short-sighted way of looking at it is, again, did we happen to get lucky in some certain thing that we got around? Maybe we didn't have the right particular personnel, or we didn't have the talent to be able to do some things, and we kind of slugged our way through it and got by, but certainly wasn't pretty, so to speak. I think it's probably not evaluated as often as it should be, but I think really the thing that always gets forgotten, and I know I'm probably sound like a broken record at this point, but evaluating how our team performed. Did we run them into the ground? And that is something that certainly have to be mindful of, especially in when it's hard to find top quality people, because the competition is so fierce now.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and having the right tool to measure as well. And you rightly said, your stakeholders, your client need to know what's happening on your project or program and keep them informed. Right information, of course, if you talk about from PMI point of view, based on the charter business case, you look at the KPI, SLA, all those are important, but also what is really making sense to my clients, what is really adding value to them. So of course, that's a discussion happen in early stage, what they really want and how often they want, in what format they want. That's part of your stakeholder identification, analysis, and engagement plan. And actually you do them, keep them informed as per the expectation. So yeah, great. Thank you. All right. Any other thoughts you have on this topic or anything we talked about?
I would just say it's one of probably my favorite ones. Certainly it's always a challenging one to navigate, and there's not necessarily a book out there that shows you there's the right way and the wrong way. And I think more than anything, especially as portfolio program managers, or let's just say some of your senior leadership, formulate your leadership style based on what best fits you. I think if it's not natural to your own personality, it's going to come off as very fake. And from a leadership standpoint, folks are not going to be able to follow you. So I think it's very important be within yourself and be that leader to where it fits you and your own style. I think that's probably one of my big things that it's certainly important as you become more of a leader and you're leading bigger teams.
Perfect. Very nice. Good stuff. Thank you. Justin, thanks for once again for sharing your knowledge and experience and making these topics more exciting, good to listen, and most important, follow them. So I think these points, what we discussed today, will help lots of people, and especially the leaders in the project program, portfolio managers, how to make sure the team is ready and they are ready and they are doing the right things for your customer. And let's thank you very much once again, and looking forward to our next session very soon.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, take care, and good luck to all of you guys. Take care.
Thank you.